so we're gonna do another one, and this time we're gonna jump in Michigan. Okay, we're gonna take it to Michigan. Okay, now once again, like I want to remind everybody about the northeastern, especially in that area. I guess that would be considered northeastern, or would that be considered Midwest? I don't know. Anyway, the North. All right, uh, Wisconsin, Michigan, areas like that. They grew some of the finest white pine trees. Okay, you got to remember some of these pine trees they said couldn't burn. I mean, obviously that was debunked, but some of this wood for hundreds of years, that's what these towns was built out of. Okay, we even did some content that y'all seen that they had tree houses, those big log houses they used to make out west. They used to get that pine from up north in Michigan. So let's go take a look at Michigan. Okay, we're gonna go to Saginaw. All right, the same exact MO. They got a thriving economy. Okay, they got the waterways, and let's not forget they got these factories. Y'all see the smoke coming up out of them. All right, when y'all see those smokes, that smoke coming up out of those furnaces, those factories. Okay, okay. I found this map. It's kind of blurry, but we're gonna go take a closer look. But this is a bird's eye view of the whole town, east and west when they combined it, and you can see these massive structures. Okay, all right, Saginaw, Michigan. Just look how established this town is. Look at the trellis. All right, here go another one. Look at this. All right, look at the lights. And this Saginaw, Michigan now. All right. Now, Saginaw was doing business with the other surrounding towns also. Okay, we all grow the same kind of wood. Okay, so we'll do this part, y'all do that part. Okay, we got the rubber thing going on in different parts of the country. Business is booming. Okay, it's booming to the point to where, man, put your factory a couple blocks down from mine. It's fine. I'm already making 1,000,000 tires a week. Or, hey, man, put your wood factory next to mine. I'm already making this wood for Florida or making this wood for Korea. You know, I'm shipping the wood across the country. All right. So this is the part of the story. Y'all know what's happening. Y'all know what's coming to Saginaw. It burned down on the same night Chicago and them other towns burned down. But now, wait, this is where this one take a turn at, okay? So when these survivors, all right, because when they met in Chicago and found out Chicago was run, they was like, hey man, no problem. We just gonna go to Windsor, Canada, okay? All right, so we just gonna go up to Canada, go to Windsor. Let's get our feet up under us and figure things out. Chicago gone, okay? So the survivors say, all right, let's go to Windsor because we already be doing business with them. All right, Windsor, well, we chilled at. You see the entertainment they got right here. All right, we was set up. All right, everybody already know we go to Sandwich Street, and that's where everybody go and hang out and kick it at. Okay, we good up in Canada. We just they got a more than enough room for us. Not just us, but people from Peshtigo, people from Chicago. You know, we can just gonna go over to Canada across the river because we do business with them. See the power lines, see the wood. You know, we do business with them, with they building. We've been selling them this white pine. Okay, and like I said, this just Sandwich Street. Now, what do y'all think happened a few days later to this place? Gone. When they get there in a few days, the survivors say this place is wiped out. Okay, Once are gone. All right. So just so y'all can understand, okay, Peshtigo, gone. Highland, gone. Manistee, gone. Port Huron, that's gone. Now, Michigan, okay, the little town in Michigan we just did, gone. Only for all them to go across the river to Wonsa and that place catch on fire 2 to 3 days later. But this is what I want everybody to remember, all right? All right. October 12th, 1871. Look what they said started this fire that burnt that whole entire city down. What they're telling y'all is the equivalent of your house catching on fire and the hospital 3, 4 blocks away catch on fire. Okay, that's what history trying to tell us about these fires. Okay, so that be the end game. That be the fate of all these towns. They all meet the same fate. Okay, it's either fire or it's either water or a natural disaster or a deadly chemical or some toxic. All right, either way it go, these cities be annihilated, and when they rebuild, it never build the same quality or look like the building that was destroyed. Okay, but that's Saginaw, Michigan, and met the same fate as the other surrounding towns on the same night. And then, like I said, when they get across the river to Canada, that place annihilated. Okay, and like I want to remind you again, communications back then, it was almost like Morse codes where the operator had to put the wires in to connect you. Once that communication went down, the only way to communicate was the word of mouth. You didn't have the internet. You didn't have, TVs with news back then. Okay, everything was communicated through word of mouth. So it would take a week or two sometimes for that news to reach that this town was destroyed. Only for when the survivors get to this town, it'd be annihilated. Okay, and then what happened? All these places are destroyed. What about the survivors? Where do they sleep? Where do they use the bathroom? Just a whole lot of questions, and it's making a sense why the population, they saying some populations used to be 300-400 million people, and it's done dwindled down to 40 to 50 million people. Okay, but y'all jump in the comments and let me know.